Hello there, everybody. Welcome to today's Personal FX, the Collectibles Show. You know, it's springtime, and everybody's thinking about having garage sales and tag sales. So on today's show, we're going to give you tips on the best way to do that, and we'll be talking all about the tools that you'll need also.
I could use some motivation in the spring cleaning department, John. Also, today, we're in a city that's known as the birthplace of the United States. In fact, all this week, we're in the Pennsylvania area, Philadelphia, and you're taking a look at the historic Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. And John Davis is nearby with a super collector who, John, has an amazing collection, over 300 black dolls. We've got a great show for you on today's Personal FX.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to today's Personal FX, the Collectibles Show. Glad you have joined us, just like the wonderful people who have come by to have these wonderful items appraised on today's show. Now, something very special. I want everyone to meet Mr. and Mrs. Burke. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Burke. I don't know who these people are, but I like them already. Your name, sir?
Edmund Burke.
And
how you doing, John? How you doing?
Hi, John.
Good to see you. You have to come to my house for Thanksgiving. We'll have a whole day.
Very good.
What are you going to have appraised today?
What are you going to cook?
Well, I have a Dresden shoe.
A Dresden shoe?
Right.
Good luck
from
with that.
Germany, yes.
And you got
Thank
that from a friend?
Yes, I did.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Incidentally, I'll be cooking turkey and you're carving.
Okay, I'll carve.
Sounds good.
If you'd like to be a guest in our FX department, have something appraised, your last name doesn't have to be Burke or Carter or anything. Just come on by, give us a call at that Sprint-sponsored 1-800-FX-FX-FX1 number, and we'll set it up. Let's go out to Philadelphia, where J.D. is hanging out. I guess you could call this the Philadelphia Doll Museum, J.D.
John, you could call it this. I mean, look at these dolls, and many of them are museum quality, and they all belong to this woman, Barbara Whiteman.
Hi.
Barbara, now you have an interesting story about how you started collecting dolls.
Yes, I started collecting dolls because my mother said that she could not find, or they did not make dolls representing a black people. So they made their own. But I knew that there were more dolls out here, so I went on a search for finding dolls and historical dolls.
And you said that you had dolls when you were a little girl, but within months your brothers would like rip out the crier or something.
Yeah,
so
my
you
brothers,
didn't keep them.
I didn't keep those dolls. My brothers would tear them up like the third or fourth month after we got them. And I just didn't think about dolls at that age. You know, I wanted to hurry up and start riding a bike and get something else.
So they lasted about 3 months when she was a kid, but she has dolls here that are over 100 years old, and we're going to see some incredible black dolls here at Barbara's, essentially, the Philadelphia Doll Museum, as you said it, John.
J.D., just seeing the very few that you've got around you there, I mean, they all have so much character. This is going to be great.
They really do, and they all tell a story, which is really interesting.
Terrific. All right, we'll check in with the two of you later on. Thanks, J.D.
All right.
Okay, let's get into some appraisals. Claire, you have Ann and our appraisers there.
And Burke. And meet our appraisers, Pat Dudley and Susie Anderson, who loves dolls.
Wonderful.
Do you collect a lot?
Oh, yes, I do. A lot of things, you know, various things, and I'm into crafts, so.
And what does your husband think of your collection? So we just met
Oh,
your
he'd like to
husband.
throw it out.
You collect too much. You've got an
Definitely.
interesting slipper. Would you want to tell us more about
Yes, this is a Dresden slipper. It's from Germany. And it was given to me by a friend.
Let's see the mark on it.
Richard Clem, who was working in the 1880s and the 19-teens. He worked for about 30 years only, for a relatively short period
Right,
of time.
stopped about 1916.
Right.
And basically the only other question we would have is it hand-painted or done by decalcomania? And this one is all hand-painted. Nice gold work, nice motif, the slipper with the worn heel.
I think there is some decal work in the background, though. I thought I did see some.
What do you look for to tell the difference between hand painting
Well,
and decal?
actually, a decal is going to be very, very smooth. With hand painting, you're going to have a variation in the surface through the application of the paint. You're right.
I just see brushstrokes.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought I saw some decal. At any rate.
How collectible is something like this?
There are a lot of people who just collect shoes. Around this period of time, there were a lot of porcelain, pottery, and glass shoes that were made. It was a very, very interesting motif that tied into the whole Victorian aesthetic of elaborate clothing. And so there are a lot of doll collectors. This is very nice because it has very nice enameling on it.
So what kind of value would you place on it?
I would say probably around $75 to $100.
Top of the market, it would be $125. Otherwise, Pat's right on the money.
A lovely piece. You have a choice. You can put it up for sale or take it home and enjoy it.
I'd like to put it up for sale.
We'll be happy to do that. Thank you so much for visiting
Okay,
today.
thank you.
And our number to call is 212-802-0082. Write down that number for any or all items that are up for sale. And Arthur joins us next. Hi, Arthur.
Hello. How
And
are
come
you?
meet our appraisers. By the way, on Mother's Day, Arthur and his wife became grandparents for the first time.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
3:30 yesterday afternoon.
That's lovely.
Very
You have
good.
a grandson? or
Michael
granddaughter?
Patrick,
Oh,
9 pounds, 4 ounces, 21 and a half inches.
Terrific. And you're going to start collecting for him already.
Yes.
Tell us about your Beatles button and ticket.
Well, I found those.
Found
Believe it or
them?
not, yes.
Where?
Well, I'm a retired sanitation supervisor, and when I used to collect, I found them. I can't remember when or where, but I've had them a few years.
We can tell you what they're worth.
This we've had on the show a number of times, but it has been complete. This is a used ticket.
it's just a stub.
Right. And a number of times this has sold at the 300 mark.
Right.
And this, how often have you seen this?
I've seen this quite a lot. This is one of the most frequently seen pins. It's probably one of the earliest, but because I think it's the earliest, there's such an interest in it that you see quite a few of them around.
And it does have a little ding right up here. So that does bring the value down. This isn't that valuable in my marketplace.
No. I don't think in generally for the whole Beatle memorabilia collecting that this is one of the more valuable
So what are we
buttons.
talking?
But nice. I would say probably for the two pieces between 75 and 100.
I think you're right, because it's not a complete ticket, and this is a low-cost Beatle collectible.
And had it been a complete ticket, it would have been worth
300.
In this price range, would you like to put it up for sale?
Yeah, I'd like to entertain
Okay, you found
offers.
it. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And Bet is our next guest. Hi, Bet. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hi.
What a lovely purse. Tell us about it.
A sweet little lady who has since passed away gave it to me, and I was wondering what it would be worth.
Do I see Whiting and Davis on the box?
Yes, you do.
Well, the good thing is, it is Whiting and Davis, and you do have the original box, but the bad thing is, it's not that old.
Here's the traditional Whiting and Davis stamp, which is usually, with these type of bags, they're usually stamped on the frame, or else there's a little metal tag that is separate.
How do you go
and
about
hanging.
dating it?
Well,
It's knowing what's sold in the marketplace, and
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I don't know about you, but I know I, quite a number of times, go through all the shops that put these in the stores, and twice a year go shopping just for the price of furniture, just to see what's doing in the marketplace, and that's a fairly new piece.
The type of metal mesh that Whiting and Davis has made is really quite different, and they are linked together. This seems to be one particular sheet. It is not tiny little prongs attaching one little octagonal to the other, and it is not enameled on top of the base metal. The color is an integral part of the metal itself. So I think that helps to state it, plus the fact that it really doesn't show any signs of wear at all.
I think that would like to know how much it's worth.
Okay.
So what do we tell her?
I would place it just in terms of a decorative evening bag, and probably in the $35 to $40 range.
$35 to $40?
Available at the discount department stores for about $35 to $40.
And you came all the way from where to?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island to have your appraisal today. Would you like to put it up for sale?
Yes, I'll entertain some.
Very nice. Thank you. John, all the way from Rhode Island for crazy bags.
You know, Claire, it's interesting. We've been doing this for almost 3 years,
Yes.
and I still can't get it right. I'm going, 150. Easy. 150. I still don't know what I'm doing.
But it's fun guessing.
That's the thing. It's fun guessing. All right, let's go out to Philadelphia, where Janet is going to give us a sneak preview of the next item to be appraised. Hi, Janet. What do you have there?
I have this Nippon Vase to be appraised coming up next on Personal FX.
All right, welcome back to Personal FX, the Collectibles Show. It is time to get back into some more appraisals so we can see just how lousy my record is on today's show as far as these appraisals. I'm not doing well. You guys doing all right?
We're doing good. We're doing fine.
Yeah, you look like you're doing fine. Let's go to Philadelphia, where Janet has joined us. Hi, Janet. How you doing today?
All right, John, how are you?
Good. Tell us more about what you got there.
This is a Nippon vase that was given to me by my great aunt, and she's 93 years old. It was given to her by her friend, and it belonged to her friend's mother.
Very nice. What do you two think of that?
Well, could we flip it over so that we could see the mark on the bottom, please?
Royal Nippon.
No. No. Okay. Can we see the top of that vase so we can see how thick or thin it is? Okay, it's possibly. The decoration is different from anything we have ever seen. It does not look like a Nippon decoration.
Huh, that's either really good or really bad, right?
Well, yeah. Play it that way, sure. The enameling on the top of the vase does, but the scenic design does not look like a typical Nippon or Noritake scenic vase. It's really atypical of what you see most of the time in this type of pottery. And the mark is not familiar to me. I don't know if it is to you, Susie.
The mark is familiar, but for lesser pieces.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would
interesting.
tend to think if it is a Nippon piece, and both of us I think have questions about it, I think I would say that it is quite late.
Exactly. From the top looking down, it looks like it is a Nippon piece. Straight on, I have a question. The signature on the bottom, I would like to handle. So we're going to give that disclaimer. We have a question about it.
All right. Well, let me pin you down for the value and the best you can do on this.
I'm going to say, again, put a disclaimer on it. If it is Nippon, I would say probably in the 125 to 150 range.
And if it's not?
If it's not, $35.
Yeah, 25,
okay.
35, yeah.
Well, Janet, what do you think? Do you want to take some bids on this mystery piece, or do you want to hold on to it?
I think I'll hold on to it.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that by. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and joining us now is Brandon. Hey, Brandon, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Where are you from?
Idaho Falls, Idaho.
Oh, welcome, welcome. Great area. I love Idaho. Tell us what you brought here.
Well, I brought in 3 1909 tobacco cards. Those used to come on the back of cigarette packages.
Now, where'd you get these?
I picked them up at various trade shows throughout the country.
Are they hard to find? Were they expensive? Can I ask you that?
No, they're relative. When I got them, actually, 10 years ago, they were relatively inexpensive.
Okay.
Now they're starting to go up in value.
Yeah, we're starting to see these more and more. What do you two think?
Well, let's show the back and then the front. This is a Piedmont card. Piedmont is one of the most desirable brands of cigarettes.
Here we go.
I'll let you hold it. That was, these were put as premiums in packages of cigarette packs. And it's most desirable because of the Honus Wagner card that went for $650,000 a little while ago. This is not of the same set, but it's from a set of 350 as opposed to 150, which is the Honus Wagner. So there are more cards in this set. This one is also a Piedmont, right here. But I'm questioning this because it is so clean looking. And the lithography on this one is quite different than this, that I don't know if these have been reproduced or not. I do have a question about it. This one is also very nice and of the same vintage as this one, the Polar Bear, and I'm not familiar with this particular tobacco company. Sometimes the smaller ones can bring a significant amount of money.
Susie, what do you think?
We tend to think alike on that. We think you have one reproduction in that. The value is predicated on whether you have the whole set and need the one that you have. Therefore, the range that I would give would be anywhere from $10 to $15 up to $100 if you need that particular card.
Agreed?
And that's the way it's going today.
What do you think?
I would put a little bit higher price on this particular one, even though it does have a crease. I would say probably up to $125 on this particular one.
Now, when you say $100, do you mean...
For one.
For one, okay. Gosh, what do you think? Do you want to take some bids?
Yeah, I'd love to take some bids.
See what happens.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for bringing
Thanks.
us by. I appreciate that. I love these things.
Thanks.
All right, and that number to call in case you want to place a bid, 212-802-0082. And Ethel now is joining us. Hi, Ethel. How are you? Come on in. Where are you from?
I'm from Selden, Long Island.
Welcome. Glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Now, tell us what you brought.
I brought a Tiffany jewelry box.
Oh, this is nice. Now, where'd you get this?
It was given to me quite a few years ago.
What do you think?
Oh, it's lovely. What is very, very nice about this box, and let me turn it over so that we can see the Tiffany studio mark to begin with. Louis Comfort Tiffany began the Tiffany Studios in around 1900, and then they were closed in the 1930s. This particular box, which is the grapevine pattern, is very nice because it is so original. It has a beautiful patinated surface that Tiffany created. It also has, which was very nice, the original velvet liners, which you very seldom see.
Now, when was this? When was this made?
This was probably made in the late teens, early 20s, I would think.
Susie,
I'd
what
put
do you
it
think?
at the early 1900s. I agree with that. Everything Pat said is absolutely correct about it. I can't add anything to it except the value. And I'm $1,000 to $1,200 on it.
Absolutely agree with Susan.
Absolutely agree. Good. About $1,000 to $1,200. Do you want to take some bids?
I certainly do. And I just want to say I'm the grandmother to Michael Patrick.
Oh, congratulations.
That was born yesterday.
grandmother.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We'll take some bids and let you know.
All right,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. That's terrific. All right, Edmund Burke is up next. Hello, Edmund.
Hey, John Burke, huh? How you doing?
So nice to finally meet you after all these years. Now tell us what you brought here. What do you have?
I have here the original plans from Paramount Studio of the Star Wars ship Enterprise.
Star Trek.
Star Trek, excuse me.
Well, this is interesting. Where'd you get this?
Some friend of mine gave it to me a long time ago.
The original plans. What do you think of this, Susie? What are you pointing at?
Well, being that my son is a collector of these and we have one also, I know that you're missing the first page.
Right.
These were mass-produced.
When?
And in
It started in 75.
70 something.
Oh, is that
By
right?
the balance.
I mean, I know I have one in the house someplace.
It was in 73.
That was when the movie came out. That's Paramount Studio.
But they were
one.
issued in the
Oh,
later
later on.
70s,
Okay.
later on.
Can
And,
we open one of these up here with that?
and it goes
Very
level
interesting,
by
yeah.
level,
Each
the
deck.
schematics
Right.
of the deck.
Oh,
And
that's
it was
interesting.
really nice for a collector to have it and to read it, but it's not that valuable. And the problem I have is you're missing the first page.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what does that do to the
Should've
collectability
let
of
the
it?
kids play with it years ago.
The other thing, in terms of collectors, these are photo offset copies. They're not copies, but they originally were photo offsets. They're not actual blueprints, so they can be copied very easily. So, and they have
So
been.
anybody, yeah, okay.
And that is a problem as far as the collector is concerned.
Well, what do you think in terms of value then?
I would place the value somewhere around $25, I think.
Okay, great.
I think I'd place my son's set at $25. I think I'd set this at $5.
Because your
That's
son has the first page. That first page
Oh,
makes all the
okay.
difference. What do you think,
Yeah,
Edmund? Do
thank
you want
you.
to take some bids? You want to hold
Yeah,
on
why
to it?
not? We'll take some bids.
All right, let's see what
Very
happens.
good. Okay,
Thank you,
thanks,
sir.
John.
Bring that by. Appreciate that.
Right.
All right, let's go out to Philadelphia. JD is going to give us a sneak preview of today's super collection. JD, I'm sure this collection has something to do with Jackie Robinson in some way.
It does, John. It sounds like you have a Burke collection happening in the apartment there.
2 or more.
You know, it was 50 years ago when Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Well, in 1948, the Allied Doll Company issued this composition doll of Jackie Robinson. Now, it originally sold for $10. You can see him there in his Dodgers uniform. But today, this doll is worth $600 to $800 if you can find another one. It's all here in our super collector's home, and we're going to see an incredible collection of black dolls from Philadelphia when we come back on Personal FX.
All right, a primitive doll. That is today's FX Collector Speak word of the day, and that is handmade by crafters who have no formal training. That is brought to you by Advil, and these can also be called folk dolls because they're generally somewhat crude, and they can be made of any materials.
And a little later on, we're going to see a very impressive
very
doll
impressive.
collection. Impressed by it already. Let's tell you about the items that are up for sale. So here's how it works. We're going to show you the items, and then we're going to give you a bid number. The Dresden slipper has an appraised value of $75 to $125. It's from the turn of the century. It is German. It is hand-painted, a very lovely motif. And the Beatles ticket and pin. The Beatles ticket was used. If it hadn't been used, it would be worth more. But it is a ticket stub. The pin is pretty common. It does have a small ding in it, so it's not in perfect condition. For both, worth $75 to $100. And then we have the Whiting and Davis evening bag. And it looks like a new bag. This is not an old piece. It does have the original box, colored metal mesh. It is in great condition and worth $35 to $40.
I think it's the shiny part that gets me. Shiny, it's expensive. That's just what I think. I don't know
Not
why that
always.
is. We also have the tobacco baseball cards. Now, there's 3 of them here, and we believe that one is a reproduction. These are from 1909 to 1910. Believe that this one here is a reproduction, so that's worth about $25 to $35. The other 2 were appraised at $100 to $125 each. We've got the Tiffany jewelry box. This is from the early 1900s. Grapevine original pattern, velvet liners, and this was appraised at $1,000 up to $1,200.
I love that piece.
Do you? You like that?
The reproduction would be more affordable, but boy,
That's
this
right.
is
Very
gorgeous.
nice, isn't it? Tiffany. Also have the Star Trek blueprints. This is from the about 1973. It's mass-produced. It's missing its very first page, and this is appraised at $5 to $25.
So here's the number to call to bid on any or all of these items, 212-802-0082. Today's super collection already, it's just so incredibly impressive and beautiful.
Well, you want to talk about impressive?
Yeah.
Susie was saying that she collects dolls, and as far as the black dolls, you've only been able to find 2 that you like.
2 that I could afford to keep.
That is
Because usually they're so expensive, I have to resell them.
I wonder how our super collector got all of these.
And the reason she's got all these is the reason you can only find 2, I think. Let's go out there and see some more. JD?
She's cornered the market, John and Claire. We're here with Barbara Whiteman. We're in her home, but she kind of calls this the Philadelphia Doll Museum, but it's really your living room.
It's
right?
definitely my living room.
Amazing.
Now, where do you find all of these dolls? They were wondering where you found over 300 black dolls.
I go to doll shows, I go to collector shows, antique shows, anywhere I think there's a black doll. I mean, even the flea market.
And you travel abroad. You find a lot
In our travels, we've gone to Africa, we brought back dolls. We've gone to Brazil, and we brought back dolls. And then you do subscription, and people, you know, you buy all the magazines where people want to sell them.
Yeah.
All right, well, Barbara has so many interesting dolls. Now, look at these. These are Indabele
Yes,
dolls.
these are dolls from South Africa, and they are the beaded dolls that the women make, and they illustrate for ceremonial dolls, initiation dolls, and fertility dolls also.
Okay, so a doll like this might be put in front of the home of a family when the daughter is old enough to marry?
Said, yes, this is a doll that says that she's of age now, and she's considered for marriage. And a doll like this is a typical dress South African woman, and it shows her marital apron. It shows her blanket, which has beads on it. And these are her tears. These are when her son goes away for initiation. This is the mother's tears.
And these are from the 40s and 50s.
Yes.
And they're all beaded. They're incredible.
Gosh.
Now look over here. These are really Barbara's oldest dolls. These are German, and they're paper mache. Now tell us about these, Barbara.
These are 3 German paper mache dolls. They have glass eyes. They have the paper mache lens. And this one even has a mechanism which she can open her mouth.
Wow, and she still works.
Yes, the other one with the male one has a mechanism too. And yeah, they come from the late 1800s.
Wow. Now, John, you were talking about guessing values.
Yeah.
What do you think's the value of one of these dolls?
Uh-oh.
Come on, more than 150.
Judging by what you said before, I'd say $400.
Well, they're a little higher than that. They run anywhere from 400 to maybe 1,200.
Wow. They're beautiful.
They are.
It's amazing. You know, Claire was saying before how expressive your dolls are, Barbara.
Yes.
They all really have a personality, and they tell a story, don't they?
They do tell a story. They tell about human dignity and how black folks were perceived through the world.
Yeah.
Now, look at this one. This is a Deadwood Dick. And this was really the first black cowboy in America.
One of the few black men who, born right after slavery, went into the West and took up all that cowboying, cow punching, and rustling and all that. He was a friend of Bat Robinson.
Now, his real name was Nate Love,
Yes,
right?
Nat Love.
Nat Love.
He picked up the nickname because he won so many trophies and Deadwood in Dakota.
Wow. That's great. Deadwood Dick. Now look at this one. Tell us about this doll. This is a Leo Moss.
This is a Leo Moss reproduction, and Leo Moss was a craftsman and doll maker. He was born in Macon, Georgia, about in the early 1900s, and his dolls have this telltale mark with the tears on them, and it's because some of the children would cry when he would do it, and also there's a story about his wife ran away, and so his dolls have these tears on them.
Wow, look at that face. I mean, we're talking about expressive dolls.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to another very famous doll maker. Tell us about these
This
dolls.
is one of my favorite doll collectors and makers. This is a Roberta Bell collection. Roberta Bell made black dolls to teach black history in her classes.
So these are all black historical figures.
Right. And she made her first doll was the George Washington Carver, the scientist who was famous for making all the products with the sweet potato and the peanuts.
Wow. And this is interesting how you got this. Quickly tell us about
yes,
the woman who makes the furniture.
This is Reverend Richard Allen. And the furniture, his pulpit was made by a friend of Roberta Bell. Her name is Ruby Brewster, and she made all the furnitures for the dolls and accessories, like the piano as well as the pulpit.
And you bought all of these from Ruby?
All the total Roberta Bell collection from Ruby Brewster.
Wow. Okay, now before we go, we just want to show you quickly some folk dolls. And these are handmade. Many of them have nut faces.
Yes, walnut faces.
And if you see here, this is a doll. The dress is made of tobacco leaves.
Yes.
And these are all folk art from when? What period?
These are American dolls made in the early 20s and 30s, and they were sold to a tourist craft.
Wow, that's great. Look at these. These are all made from the nipples of pacifiers.
Wow.
If you see the faces, that's all
amazing.
Yeah. We call those nipple dolls. That's what babies' bottles were, black nipples.
Wow.
So these were used to make these type of dolls.
Well, Barbara has a story to go with every doll, and we could spend the rest of the show just looking at her collection, but that's it.
Wow. That's
you, Barbara.
just, Barbara, do you think we could come back to your house on another day and see the rest? That is amazing.
Anytime. We'll be happy to have you here.
Barbara, it's a wonderful collection. JD, thank you both very much. Really appreciate that.
All right, you're welcome.
That was
I
something.
am enchanted by the stories behind the dolls and their expressions.
Isn't that something?
And that's her living room.
Gosh, that's her living room. And you can only find two.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
You
amazing.
got to go out with Barbara. Obviously.
Obviously, that's what you got to do. All right, folks, stay with us. When Personal FX returns, we have more appraisals coming your way, and we're going to give you tips on what to do if you want to hold a tag sale. Stay with us.
Personal FX is always on the road. In fact, next week, we're going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we already booked up. But we're heading to Charleston, South Carolina for the week of May 26th, and then to Lincoln, Nebraska for June 2nd to 6th. Now, here's how it works. You've got a lot of any one item and you fall into the category of super collector, or you have one item to be appraised. Call our Sprint-sponsored number. That's 1-800-FX-FX1. And Karen and Joe are waiting in the rec room for an appraisal, and I have a feeling, Karen, that somebody is poring over your tapestry right now.
Yes, they are.
They've gotten an advanced look at it. Where'd you get it?
It was going destined for the dump. It was one of the houses we cleaned out.
You rescued it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but know nothing about it.
So what are you looking for under loop?
Well, I was looking to see if it was handmade or machine-made, and it is machine-made. And in the back, it is stamped made in France.
Okay. And you know it's machine-made by the stitching?
Yeah, it's completely done by machine, and the hangers even have a little polyester in it, so it doesn't have a lot of age to it at all.
And it says down here, let's see if we can see it deftly. Can't read it upside down. It should be an artist's name, and whether or not it is...
but this translated means after. That's
that.
correct. Means this is a copy of something that someone else meant.
So, as a machine-made piece, how much is it worth?
$125 in the open marketplace where I live.
In the decorative market, $125, $150.
Okay, we have pretty much agreement up to $150. You found it, so the price was right.
Oh, definitely.
Would you like to put it up for sale?
Yes, I would like to entertain offers.
We'll be happy to do that. And our number to call is 212-802-0082 if you'd like to bid on this or any other item. And Joe, what have you brought in?
I brought in a pair of dice, Elvis.
Elvis dice.
Elvis dice.
Instead of the number 6, we have Elvis.
Elvis.
Where'd you get something like this?
Novelty. A friend of mine was going out of business. I have 30 pair of them.
30.
The corner of the market on them.
Yes.
Obviously made as a promotional material for Viva Las Vegas.
I would say so.
Yeah. And if we,
Did they come on a card?
No.
Okay, they were just loose, and these are
individual packages, just like that. sealed packages.
Okay.
And Viva Las Vegas was a movie that he did?
Yes, a movie that he did. This is a transfer of Elvis, by the way, just in case anyone should think might be hand-painted.
There are a lot of Elvis fans, collectors. How collectible is something like this?
I wouldn't put it in the realm of the most sought-after Elvis material. It is fairly late in terms of his own career. And even though there's a lot of material that was made after his death, you almost have to grade things in early career, middle career, late career. This is fairly late.
So put this in a price category.
I would put it in the $25 to $35 range.
Yeah, top's $50. I agree with you on that one.
Top $50? Were you putting this and were your other 30 pairs up for
Up for bids,
this?
yes.
Okay.
I would like to.
Thank you so much. And let's go back on out to Philadelphia where Dean would like an appraisal. Hi, Dean. Welcome to the program. And please tell us about your item there.
Hello.
Hi, Dean. You're on the air. Go right
Okay,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I have a clock here that is about 130 some years old. It's been in our family that long. And Aunt Becky of my father wanted a clock during the Civil War, and they raised flax on the property, and she made some linen, went across the mountains on a horseback, came back with a clock and traded it at that time. So we've had it in our family that long.
Can you tell us who the maker of the clock is?
No, there's nothing on it that I can find out who made it, or there's no signature on the clock face at all.
Okay. The one clue I'm getting is that the face is painted white. And
Right.
And during the war, a lot of times they would paint the face white because they didn't want to be reminded that it's English. But that would be too early for this clock.
This is an O.G. Mano clock that was made around 1840. Very, very popular, mass-produced. Matter of fact, Seth Thomas made these and shipped the movements and the cases to England separately because there was such a high demand for these particular clocks. Susie's right, the face is hand-painted. So is the reverse painting that's inside the door, which looks to be the original reverse painting.
And how's the condition?
The condition is not good. There's a lot of veneer damage.
Right.
These were veneered with mahogany veneer, and it's a rather thin veneer so that it cracks and it raises easily, and you can see that right there.
So give me a price range on it.
I would say in this particular condition, probably around $175 to $200.
I'm $100 to $125 in the condition it's in right now.
And in that price range, would you like to put it up for sale, or you're planning to keep it?
I think we probably want to keep it. It's been in our family that long.
Thank you so much for being on the program today.
Thank you,
now it is time to learn about spring cleaning sales. John, take it away.
Okay, and joining me is Ann Fenstermacher. Ann, glad you're here today. Really
Nice
appreciate
to be here.
Now, Claire, you know we're having our big spring cleaning sale on Friday in Philadelphia, and we're doing it at Ann's house. She's the one that has volunteered her house. Now, we went to the street and we asked a lot of people, if you were in Ann's position, how would you prepare for this? This is what they said.
I would make sure that it was merchandised properly, everything was priced properly.
Hire some help to carry the stuff out. That would be the very first thing I would do.
Tidy up, actually.
I would check prices at antique shops.
Put an ad in the paper and put up signs, I guess.
Actually, I think that that they're all pretty much on target. Ann, have you done all that? Are you all set?
Yes, just about all that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And joining us is Susie Anderson, just in case we're forgetting anything. She's going to fill in all the tricks of the trade. And Susie, when it comes to having a garage sale or a tag sale, I guess you got to pick the date when you want to do it.
First and primary, that's important, but first I like to discuss with the client, what is the purpose and function? In Ann's case, it's house cleaning.
I see. All right.
In another, maybe attorney, it's probate. I have to empty the whole house. I have to know these things.
And will that help you decide when to have it then?
Exactly, and whether I need a rain date. That's really important to know. Also helps me to know if I need contingency plans. Like Ann has a shelter that anything left over in clothing is going to the shelter.
Well, now, do you have a rain date set up? What if it does rain there on Friday? Have you thought about that?
Yes, we've got a rain contingency plan. Since we are a very large stand, we can pretty much have it rain or shine, but we will be hanging up some tarps to actually extend our undercover space.
I see. Okay. So the contingency is a big thing.
It's
now,
very important.
The other things we should talk about, obviously, are supplies, the things
Supplies,
that
duct tape, posters, pens, hang tags, sticky tags, cashier needs calculator, a cash box.
Now, these things seem kind of obvious, but have you found anything while you're doing this that, boy, I never would have thought of that if I hadn't had a tag sale?
Yes, hangers. I have asked everybody I know for extra hangers, and it seems like everybody has just thrown them away just right before I asked them for them. So hangers, a lot of them.
And help, I guess, get some help if you're going to
Help during the sale and after the sale.
Have you done that? Do you have?
Yes, I've lined up the help. I've been working on it for about a month and a half now.
About a month and a half she's been. Is that usual to be working on it that long?
The more organized you are for a sale, the better sale you're going to have.
Now, what about advertising? I guess that's an important thing when it comes to this.
Advertising, I like to look at the overall picture. What are your pluses? What are your minuses? What should we advertise? What's normal? You don't have to advertise. If you have clothes, they should be stated. If you have books, they should be stated. If you're selling furniture, put that in the ad. If you have antiques and collectibles, head off the ad with it.
Okay, now, have you done any of this? Have you made signs like this? Is this what you've done?
The signs I've actually left till last. I thought that was probably the easiest part of the entire sale. But I have handled some advertising. I made up some flyers.
Very interesting. So if you're going to have a garage sale where a lot of furniture is involved and you're going to put an ad in the paper, you might want to put it in the furniture section of the
Exactly, because you want dealers and collectors to look for the merchandise that they're looking for, and it might be in the furniture section, just a little 3-page and then your regular ad in the estate sale or garage sale column.
And we should always remind people, too, be a good neighbor, because if you're going to put up a sign, make sure you go through the neighborhood and take them back down.
After the sale.
So, all right. And good luck. Thank you very much for letting us use your house.
Oh, I can't wait.
This should be a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
Another way you can do it, if you want to advertise, just come on a national cable collectibles show, and we can give you a number to call in case you want to know where Ann is. On Friday, stop by. It's 1-800-FX-FX-FX1. Call that, and we'll put you, well, actually, we'll tell you where everything is. All right, let's get a preview of the next item to be appraised on today's show, out probably near her house. Linda is going to give us a sneak preview. Hey, Linda, what do you have?
I have a decorative plate that I would like to have appraised on the personal FX.
Welcome back to Personal FX. I'm really getting excited about the spring cleaning sale we're having on Friday.
You should mention Susie has made up a checklist. If you want to have one of these, call the show. We'll get you one.
And I'm getting motivated, Susie. I need to have my own sale. Here are the items that are up for sale that are getting bids right now, starting with the Dresden slipper. From the turn of the century, it has an appraised value of $75 to $125. It is hand-painted and German-made. We also have the Beatles ticket and the pin. The ticket is a used ticket stub. The pin is pretty common. It does have a small ding in it. And for both of these items, worth $75 to $100. The Whiting and Davis evening bag comes with an appraised value of $35 to $40, relatively new, and has the original box with it in colored metal mesh.
Then we've got the tobacco baseball cards. These are from 1909 to 1910. One of them we think is reproduced, and that's this one here. So that one's worth about $25 to $35. The other two were appraised at $100 to $125 each. Then we have the Tiffany jewelry box. This is from the early 1900s. It's got the original velvet liners inside, and this was appraised at $1,000 up to $1,200. We have the Star Trek blueprints. These are from 1973. These were mass-produced, and this is missing the first page, so this was appraised at $5 to $25.
And the next item is something, John, I know you would appreciate.
I really
because you
would.
like Elvis.
I would.
This is not an ordinary dice, Elvis dice. Happened later in his career when he made the movie Viva Las Vegas. It's a promotional item, $25 to $50 for this.
Can't go wrong. Can't lose with those.
Absolutely, no. And it's in place of 6 is the Elvis face.
Oh, okay.
So if you'd like to call us, our number is 212-802-0082.
Back out to Philadelphia we go, where Linda has joined us to have an item appraised. Hi, Linda. How you doing today?
Hi.
Tell us what you brought there. Tell us more about it.
Well, this plate belongs to my sister. We had it for 20 years. Someone off her job gave it to her for a Christmas present. And they had it in their family for centuries. And the girl was from Australia. She brought it from there.
All right. Let's see what
That's all I know about it.
All right. Let's see what the appraisers know here. Linda, what do you two think?
Australia or Austria?
Austria.
Austria, I believe, yes.
That would make more sense because it does look bohemian. And it's difficult to tell because we don't have it in our hands whether the bottom is cut or pressed, the design is cut or pressed. And it looks like rather late Bohemian glass to me,
Yeah.
probably definitely 20th century, I would think, with the enamel, gold enamel overlay.
Susie?
It looks very much like the wedding band that was popular in the 1920s and 1930s. I'd have to feel the rim to see if there was a top that belonged over this. Possibly that is a cheese dish or a large
butter dish.
Right. But as is, I like it at about $50.
I would be a little bit more cautious, not knowing exactly what it is, probably in $35 to $50 range.
Linda, did you want to take some bids on that, or did you want to hold on to it?
Yeah, I'll take some bids.
All right, let's see what happens. Thanks for bringing that by. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, we've got some letters to get to next. Turning to our mailbag, we have a letter from Karen from Taylor, Michigan, who writes to us, I have a starret butterfly pin, which I recently saw on the cover of a costume jewelry price guide. The pin looks exactly the same, except the one I have has colored rhinestones in the wings as opposed to clear ones. The pin measures 3 inches by 4 inches and is missing 6 tiny stones in the antenna. Any information appreciated?
Well, it's not the same as she described, and it has losses, which in costume jewelry is a problem for someone to replace. In perfect condition, I'm like 150. In this condition, it's going to lose about 1/3 of its value.
What does it take to find replacement stones and then put them in?
Like-in-kind stones, easy to put together, but hard to find to match up.
Particularly since these are probably Czechoslovakian rhinestones, because it was made around 1940. The color is never quite the same.
If you
So it's
found
probably-
somebody who deals, or a jeweler who deals with Austrian jewelry?
It's the color's the problem.
The color's the problem.
Even though it's a clear
Okay.
stone.
Thank you very much for your letter, Karen.
Okay, we got a letter in from Bourbonnais, Illinois. Patricia is on the phone right now, as a matter of fact. Hi, Patricia, how are you?
Hi, John. How are you?
Doing good, thanks. Tell us what you'd like to have appraised.
I have a bowl that I inherited from my aunt, and it has RS Prussia on the bottom. Around the top rim, there are some hand-painted, blown-out irises, and they have gold highlights that have been hand-painted, I believe. And there are some pink poppies that are probably a transfer on the inside of the bowl. It's about a 10-inch wide to 3 1/4 inch deep.
All right, let's see what the appraisers think here, Patricia. What do you two think of that?
The bowl, according by the mark, was made somewhere around 1900. The Schlechelmilch, I always have a terrible time with this word, like getting tongue-tied, family made a lot of RS Prussia, or RS Germany, RS Tillowitz. This was made by Erdmann Schemmelmitch. I've already screwed it up already, but
Well, what about the value? What do you think?
Around $250 to $300 because of the blown-out iris rim.
Right. I'm about $250 on it. It is a berry bowl. It's missing the small and serving dishes.
Okay. Patricia, do you want to take bids on that, or do you want to keep it?
Yes, I'll take bids on it.
All right, let's see what happens. Thanks for being on the phone. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Let's see what the big bids are going to be.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Should be good. Very nice. Very, very nice. Welcome back to Personal FX, the Collectible Show. Let's get started with the big bids. What do you say? You ready?
I think we should.
All right, let's do it. And with the slipper, wanted to let you know Pamela from San Diego, California called in with an offer, $201.50.
Sold.
Arthur with the Beatles ticket and pin. Betsy from Charlotte, North Carolina called in with an offer of $125. Sold. Bet with the evening bag, Jack from Ohio called in with an offer of $100.
Sold. We're 3 for 3. Brandon, for your cards, Jeff from Staunton, Virginia would like them for $200.
I'll think about it.
Ethel, for the lovely jewelry box, we have an offer from Carol from Topeka, Kansas for $1,500.
Sold.
Edmund, for your Star Trek blueprints, Rita from New Orleans wants them for $45.
Sold. America.
And Joe, for those Elvis dice, Alice from the state of Washington is offering $45.
Each?
$45 for the one.
Just for the one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I heard the ka-ching.
It's going to say goodbye to J.D. J.D., nice job today.
Thank you very much. Hey, look, tomorrow we're going to be back in Philadelphia. We're going to be with the president and part owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, Pat Croce, and he has a collection of collections. He collects all sorts of things, so we're going to take a look at some of his stuff. We want to thank Barbara for welcoming us into your home. And you have a black doll convention coming up when?
Saturday, May 31st and Sunday, June 1st at the Pennsylvania Convention Center.
It's going to be right here in Philadelphia. Call the show and we'll give you more details.
Great collection.
All right, thanks, J.D. Of course, we got a
Bye-bye.
great week for you coming up here on Personal FX. Don't forget, on Friday, we have our big tag sale with Ann Fenstermacher, who's going to lend us her house. Thank you, Ann, very much. And also going to have Cracker Jack prizes coming up this week, chocolate molds, all kinds of great super collections.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you all for being with us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
So long, everybody.